Dave here, how are you? I hope the stream is coming through nice and clear, the sound is tracking, everything's working well. Today is the 5th of May 2019 for us in Australia and the advanced nations of the world. For the backward countries, of course, it's May the 4th be with you. I don't really mean that you're backward. Well, maybe a little bit. Anyway, today on the show, I trust everyone's well. Idiot, I was going to say almost, is well. Thank you there, Peter. Hello, Michael Murray. Hello from Philly. Philadelphia, is that? I'm not sure. See, in Australia, we're not up on all of the shortenings of names. And, so if I'm not getting it so quickly, well, forgive me. Anyway, here we go. What have we got? Live build. Now, when I was doing a little bit of mucking around with some resin work, one of the viewers said, Dave, make yourself a rack for these things, the dies, because if I bump one of these with the stopper, it's going to go all over the place and it will be a hell of a mess to tidy up. So it's a simple build. It is a simple build. Now, if you're not interested in watching, tune out because it's going to bore the stuffing out of you. But I'm going to take you through a process on how to make it, and it's really, really interesting. The end result is just a project, but it's the doing that I like. And I'll be using a few of the machines. I'll be using very, very quickly, as a matter of fact, the drill press, the new bandsaw. I'll be doing a little bit of a glue up here, and then we'll run it through the bandsaw again. And I'll be using this bad boy here, my number 62, which I put a little post on Instagram. It is my low angle jack from Ryder, which is a company that, it's a brand for Axminster. It's probably an actual standard plane that's made by a company, and there's probably a few different companies out there that have their brand on it. I'm not 100% sure, but this one was from Axminster in the UK. So we're going to do that. The confusion over diamond blades. There was a post on Facebook during the week, and someone put up a blade that looked like this guy. And this is polycrystalline, and it has teeth. See here? Do not cut concrete with this. It's not for concrete. It is for compressed sheet, like cement sheet products that have got fibre in it. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. The JessEm Clear Cut Stock Guide's winner. Now, you don't get this jig that I made, but it's this, and the Allen key here. And I've got a winner. I've got a winner. These things are brilliant. And thank you so much to JessEm for supplying them. Where are we? Barry the Pug turns 14 tomorrow. Now, do you want to see a cute picture? Actually, I'll play a little bit of video right at the beginning. I'm hoping I will. I think I've lost it. Look, I'll throw this up instead, which is a cute picture of him when he was 2 weeks old. How's that? Because you remember that if you follow me at all, you'll know that we bred him here. So we had 4 pugs, and him and his sister were from one of the litters that we had. So, well, not we had, but the dogs had. Yeah, we had the dogs. No, well, that doesn't sound right either. But we owned the dogs. How's that sound? And we bred a few. We had a few litters, and it was great. So Barry, I kept. So he turns 14 tomorrow. And support the channel through Patreon and the Amazon links below. If you can do that, that's fantastic. And thank you so much to everyone that does support the channel through Patreon. Now, we're not going to hang around too long. Let's get into this now. This is the build. I'm going to use 2 pieces of pine. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll notice that one of the local daycare centers got in touch with me and said, Dave, have you got any offcuts that the kids can use just to hammer at the moment? And they've got a workbench up there. And I thought, what a great thing, rather than have these preschoolers get in there and play computer games, because I know that one of my grandsons is just computer game crazy, and he's only 3. So this is great. I'm very, very much for supporting the local community as far as that's concerned. So I dressed it all up. I wasn't going to give them the offcut that was all rough and daggy, so I dressed it through the machines, dock the ends off so it's nice, and I arras the edges at the corners as well, just so that they don't get splinters off it. Anyway, so I've grabbed a couple of pieces out of that, and I thought it'd be a great thing for the show today. What we're going to do first is I need to have a support that's going to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles, and I want to be able to read them all from the front, and I don't want them to be able to fall out whilst they're labelled. If you have a look at them, you'll see there's only one, which is the yellow, which I can tell straight away is a different colour. All the others look the same colour, but there's black, green, blue, orange, red in there as well. So I need to be able to read the labels. I want it to lean back a little bit of an angle, so as I've got it on the bench, I don't have to stoop down to see what it is. It's very easy for me to read. This one I just knocked up as a little prototype, and it's out of rough as guts wood. And if you want to do that, you can do that as well. So this is a piece of 4x2. So you guys in the States will call it 2x4s. Dressed down, it's going to be 90 by 45 in Australia. It may be slightly smaller than that. Now what I want to do is I want to have alternating holes, and I need four at the back, 3 at the front. I've worked out that if I put the holes 3 inches apart on one line and then go to the center of halfway between and do them 3 inches apart as well, that will give me the good result. Now I'm going to work in metric now for the rest of it, because it's a whole lot easier. So they're going to be 75 millimeters apart. It's very easy to remember metric versus imperial. 1 inch is 25 millimeters, near enough. That's it. Don't talk in centimeters. Centimeters is dress talk. So if you're a person who does sewing, you will talk in centimeters. In Australia, we talk in meters or millimeters in the building industry. Okay, I'm going to measure it overall. It's 370 millimeters long. So let's come in. Let's come in about 70 millimeters. I'll jump up to Carl Cam and see if we can have a look at that. All looks easy to see there. I'm going to come in. Oh, it's transition. I keep forgetting because I see both screens here and I think, easy. There we go. So I'm going to come in 70 and I'm going to go along 75. So how I do that is I just pull the tape back to 100 and I'll go 75, 150, 25. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And I'm going to get the square and zap across. Okay, so basically I have it centered easily there. You guys may not see that. How about I help you out? I'll do it with this. This is, look, it's going to be a bit rough as guts, but you'll be able to see the lines. That a bit easier? It ain't fine joinery, that's for sure. All right, now I'm going to go halfway between those. These lines are now around about 4 millimeters wide each. Oh, goodness. All right, I can see the pencil line underneath. So I'm going to go halfway between 75, which is close enough to 38 millimeters. So if I go to 38, and then I move the tape back to either 100 or 200 there, and I'll just go again, 75, 150, 1, 2, 3. I've got them there. I'm not going to hit these with the Sharpie or the black marker pen, whatever you want to call these things. Not going to do it. Just going to leave that like that. Now, you might wonder why I haven't done any lines this way, because I've set a jig up over here. We'll switch cameras again. Let me see, where are we? There. Okay, now I'm over at the drill press. I have set this up so that my fence at the back here is going to give me the position for the drill at the front, so I'm not coming through. So I'm going to drill 4 holes here. Then I'm going to rotate the piece of timber and put it back in again and drill 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 holes. It's pretty easy. So that's going to give me offsets. So they'll be, wherever they go. All right. And this is also going to make it safer. So I'm holding it down with a clamp here, and it can't rotate in there. I've jerried up some kind of a dust extraction system here, which is looped around my drill press like a boa constrictor. And I'm going to turn on the dust extractor. Let's see how we go. You can hear it sucking there. Alrighty. The drill press speed at the moment is around 400. I could have turned it up a little bit more, but I'm just going to leave it like that for the moment. Turn him on. Bring it down. I've got the depth set already. I don't think that's deep enough, David. What I'll do now is I will take it down a little bit deeper until I'm happy with the depth. And I'll lock it. Got him there. And I shall tighten the stop up. Just want to see if I've got going down deep enough there. I can take it a little bit deeper than that. That might do me. Beautiful. Okay, that was the initial setup. And now the next one. I'm moving it along. I'm not going to hold it at this end anymore. That's getting a bit dangerous. I'm going to hold it on the far end. Good. Turn him off for a second. So that's what we've got. It's not too bad, is it? And I'm going to push the rest out by sliding it back. There we go. Now you see that all those holes have come past the center line. These holes here are going to go past the center line that way. So when I bring this down, you can see how close they're going to be. It's pretty close, but it's not a concern. You watch what happens. And the last one at the other end. Well, I mean, I'm holding it at the other end. Whoop. I nearly went all the way through. What's the story there? No, that's fine. I'm just going to check I've got it in the right spot here. Yep. Okay. So there's my pattern. I'm going to switch cameras. Main camera. back to me. I'll turn the dust extractor off. Easy so far, isn't it? There we go. Now, I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and I'm going to rip it right down the center. And that will expose the edges like that. But it will give enough for it to still hold the bottle at the front. Well, that's the plan. I hope it works. All right. Nearly a quarter past. We're doing well. We're doing well. I hope we've got a good set of numbers here. I'm not watching anything really here, guys. Bush and Wronghouse, thank you so much. I'll send you a photo, Dave. Luke did a great job. Great. Okay. I'm going to keep at it. Let me see. I'm going to switch the camera over to the other side here. I got more cable. Again, thank you so much to my patrons. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff. So I've got that there, about there, I think, without tripping over it. Makes it so much easier. I can move the cameras around really easy. Before I was tethered to, within around about 10 feet, 3 meters from the computer. Now I can go 9 meters away from the computer easily. Switch the cameras again and onto the chainsaw. 6919. Well, there you go. All right, I need to change the power over to the other machine. From there to there. And all good. I've set the dust extraction up on this. I need to actually shut one gate and turn the other gate on. So I shut this gate, open the other gate, down on the floor here. Now this may make a little bit of a whistling noise, which to me is a good idea, good thing, because it tells me that it's actually sucking the, turn the dusty on, wait for the whistle. Nope, not doing it, beautiful. Now here's another thing. I'm gonna on purpose move this in a little bit. I did have it centered. What I'm gonna do is show you quickly how to center by doing this, and also checking for dead square to the table. So I'm going to turn it on. Nice and quiet machine. Little cut there, and a little cut there. Can you see on the end? 2 cuts. Now I need to halve that, so I can bring it up to here. Just tap it across a little bit till I reckon I'm half there. Unlock it. All right, turn her on. Over again. Nearly. See, the cut has got width now in the middle. Bit of a shadow in there. I'm nearly there. So what I'm going to do is I have to come across ever so slightly more. That might do it. Oh, I've gone too far. I've got to go the other way. Maybe that's it. That looks pretty good. Yeah, spot on. Now, you'll notice that last cut I've done is perfectly straight up and down, which means now that my saw is 90 degrees to the table. You want to see how good this machine is? Watch this. Now around to the other side. So I've got to come around the back of the camera. And off. And switch cameras to there and turn the dust extractor off. All right. Now, I have a little bit of a stuff up, but that doesn't worry me too much. It actually adds a little bit of a feature to it. that's what it's going to look like. Now these parts here, so these little parts here, I did not intend, where are we? Over here. See those little scallops here? I did not intend for them to be there. So it's not worrying me too much, but it would have been better without them. You can work that out if you do this project yourself. Okay. Okay. John Laffey, you're going to be at the show. John and I will both be at the show, yes. So that is the Timber Tools and Artisans show. I think I got the name right this time. They will be sending me some free tickets. I'm going to do another 5 free double passes to the Timber Tools and Artisans show. Now, the next part of this little project is glue. So let's get some glue happening here. I'm going to put the 3 in the front there, and then that on there, and then that there. Okay. First I'm going to glue. I've got another piece of the pie, and I'm going to glue this onto the top of it. Easy. Whoop. Before I do that, I nearly stuffed up. I need to give this a plane because I don't want it sitting there looking terrible. Get myself organized. I'm trying to read as well. So there we go. I've got it in there. I'm looking at the direction. So for anyone who doesn't know how to use a plane, see this piece of timber here? The grain is rising this direction, ever so slightly. If you look at this, it's rising. It's very close to being straight, but you know, I'm going to go this way. I don't want to go against the rise. All right, so this is the low angle jack. Beautiful. There we go. If I was super keen, I could take those scallops out, but I'm not going to be super keen. I'm going to leave it like that because I don't want it to fall out. See? How clever is that? What a great little idea. I can read the label. Okay. Pop that down there on its side because people will say, Dave, you can't put a plane down like that. Flat. I can on the bench here. Just a quick point. I can put the plane down there like that because it's got the cushion strips. So the blade isn't touching. Easy. Links in the description box if you want one. Okay. So I have that, and that. Now I'm going to glue the back. As I say, they're simple projects, but I like to be able to show people, glue bottle open of course, simple projects. Because we don't all get on the timeline at the same time. In other words, everyone's got to start somewhere, and there's going to be a lot of people watch this show, I'm hoping, that are new to mucking around with wood. I think a lot of people in America or the States call it lumber. We're not too particular. It's wood or timber. We never use the term lumber. No, I don't know where that came from. If anyone can help me out with that, why you guys in the States call it lumber. A lumber to me is, you know, down here. Your lumber, if you've got a car with a lumber support in it, you know, that's what lumber is to me. Okay, so we're going to pop that on there and on there. And I'll lock it together with some spring clamps. Beautiful. That's that end. And the other end. Now these are going to line up when I put the other clamps on. Now I'm going to clamp to the front here. See what I've got? I built the back up, and now I'm going to put this guy, which has got the 3 holes in it, in line with the bottom of the holes that we've drilled. Okay? I'm hoping that makes sense. Bit of goo. And I'm not sponsored by Type Bond. I just use their glue. It's glue. It's funny, I watch people turn glue bottles around back to front so you can't see who it is. I think that's sort of, that's getting a bit petty, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway. Look, I'm being very neat. It's not paint, Dave, it's glue, and it's going to get squeezed even more in a second. A couple of these little guys. Drop it on there, and then when I've got it over here, I'm going to line it up with the center of the holes at the Forstner bit. Let's go to the camera above me. Go to Carl Cam. Beautiful. There we go. There we go. Can you see it all right from there, guys? I'm doing it a little bit roughly at the moment, and it doesn't really matter. Because you can adjust quite easily. That's got to go down just a touch. That's good. And locking back up. There. Okay. That's the project so far. You can see I have all of the holes. These dark lines are lining up with the center of the hole from the Forstner bit. Let's see if I bring it up. I should never do that. How about I tip the camera over, go to the other camera. Okay. I'm going to read these comments later on when I review the show later on tonight with Vicky. I'll be able to see what everyone's written. Okay, so here we go. This is now set up so that these black lines here are in line with the center of the hole from the Forstner bit. You can see the little pilot point right at the front. Now this may look horrible right at the moment, but we're going to tidy it up and make it look nice. I have to leave this in the clamps for 30 minutes. And I think, yeah, I could put it in a mustard bottle, but you know, these are good bottles. And also I don't have to remember which one does which. You know, this is not a waterproof glue, this is an inside glue. It's not as strong as the other one that they sell, but it goes off quicker. So I'm going to be happy. So I'm going to pop this aside. We're going to leave that for 30 minutes. Actually, it'll be around about 10 to. So I need you to remind me at 10 to the hour to take that out of the clamps. We're going to do a little mucking around with the bandsaw again and run it through. But in the meantime, I need to have a look down here. Where are we? Give me a second. Jim K. Dave referred to lumber region in your back. USA calls timber as lumber. Didn't know why. We probably didn't know any better. Did you get a new bandsaw, Dave? Yes, Rod, I did. Now, the story behind the bandsaw, you follow the show a fair bit, you'll have seen why and how I got it. I'm doing a series of videos now for the company that makes that bandsaw, or that sells it in Australia. Now, because I'm doing those videos, they came up here and they had, look, this is nothing to do with my channel or YouTube. It's that I'm under contract to do these videos on how to assemble their machines. I think it's a great idea. I've been having a ball doing it. I've got through a couple already and pushing forwards. Now, I had a Powermatic bandsaw, a little 14-inch Powermatic bandsaw. It was great. But they said, look, they'd like to have a little bit more of their product in the background for their videos. Now, it just so happens I use the same space here to do my videos and do the live show as the area that they liked. They like this area here in that corner. And it's got the plywood floor there. It just looks nice and, you know, kind of woodsy. Let me say woodsy or shedsy or woodworking-y. Anyway, so that's the kind of things. So that's the story. They said, Dave, we'll give you an upgrade. And it is a nicer saw. It's a much nicer saw. So they'll switch over 2 machines for me. And I had a big jet edge linisher, and I was rarely using it. And so what happened was, I said, how about instead of switching that over, because they said, look, we want the color to be there. And I like blue anyway, you all know that. Whoop. What's that I hear? I wonder if Barry's come to see me. Give me a second. Hello, mister. You're not going to let me out. Good on you. Come on. Oh dear. Come on, matey. There we go. Now, this is Barry, the famous pug. Nearly 6 million views on YouTube. Can you believe it? Like, I don't understand it. I gave him a bath. How long ago was it, mate? 8 years ago? 7 years? 6 years ago, maybe? When he was about 8. And there you go. Now, we had trying to set it up so that it sounded like Barry was knocking at the door, but when my wife popped him outside the door, she sat him right up against the door, and the door opens out. All right. Do you want to sit up here for a second, Baz? You can watch what's happening. Where's a towel? Make it nice for him to sit up on the bench. This is a bench dog. You right there? Is that okay? He wants food. It's not happening, sport. Okay. Now, yes, so there he is. Yeah, I know. So he's 14 tomorrow. He's an old dog, a very, very old dog, and I wonder why we put up with him. But he's very loving. He's a hard time seeing. He can smell. He can smell me. Going to say hello? Hey. And so he can smell. He can't hear. He's as deaf as a post. And so I don't even know why I'm talking to him. Just happened, I guess. Have any of you got old dogs that you still talk to them? You know they've got Buckley's chances of hearing you. And I don't even know if he understood me when he could hear. You know, like I didn't give him little things to understand. Normal commands, you know, come here, but you do the hand motion at the same time, so you wonder whether or not they're actually hearing or watching. Anyway, so there he is. I'm reading down through there the comments on Wood. The original bench dog. Yes, he is. He will not be coming to the show, though. He'll be staying here at home. I did a little video on him yesterday, and you want to see him as a bench dog. Give me a second, see if I can do that. Barry, there he is. That's in one of my earlier workshops, building a unit. And there's Barry sitting on. He would have been a teenager there, maybe, 18 months old. And as I said, the other picture of him when he was, a week, maybe a week old. Look at his tiny little toenails on him. That's a cutie. This is what they end up looking like. So if you get a dog, there's so many times people buy a dog as a pup. They see it in a pet shop and think it's cute. Well, unless you're prepared to go the full mile with him, like for as long as he lives, and it's 14 years is a long time, that's a big chunk out of your life, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't abandon them to in the bush or in a shelter somewhere. You are their life. That's all there is to it. Anyway. So there we go. All right. So I'm going to say to Barry, I think you'd like to go over and visit somewhere else for the moment, wouldn't you? Hey? Can't hear a word. He just sniffs. All right. I'm going to put him outside and he can have a wander off. he's bigger than 20 millimeter around, all right, John. Oh, you right? Say goodbye to everyone. Go on, you can find your own way home. There you go. There you go. Up you get. Keep walking. Good man. All right, he's off. That's enough distraction. So there you go. I guess anyone that's had a dog will know that it's a sad day when they leave you, and that day is probably going to be sooner rather than later for us. They are family. Unconditional love from the dog. You must return it. That's just... Anyway, look, what are we going to do next? The next thing. I'm going to show you a picture. So the bandsaw, I was telling you the story about the bandsaw, and instead of the jet edge linisher, I've got over there in the corner a 6-inch belt and 12-inch diameter disc sander. You know that I sold a 6-inch, 9-inch machine I had to John, and I regretted it, not long after it. And so I've got that guy as an exchange. So that's what's happened. They've just exchanged 2 machines for me. And both the machines that I exchanged have already been sold. So that's good for them, good for me. Okay. They are also a big chunk in your life. Exactly, that's right. No, Barry's not going to walk up the hill. He's going to walk across the garden to where my mother-in-law is living at the moment. And she was telling me yesterday, she said he barks at me all the time. And I said, why? And she said, well, because I don't drop things on the floor often enough. So she says, I'm old and I drop things on the floor. And I said, do you, Justin? She said, well, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So he puts weight on big time over there. She denies actually feeding him. She drops things and he ate it. I wasn't feeding him. Vicky will have a little smile on her face when she watches this part. All right, back to the show. I have here some pictures from Michael. So Michael House won the Triton wet grinder, the slow speed wet grinder, which is fantastic. So he's got it there on a Stanton bench. He sent me a little note here saying, hi Dave, a picture of me with the new Triton on the original Stanton bench, currently sitting on my old Black & Decker folding vise. I'm guessing that's a Black & Decker workmate. Should get time on Sunday to finally sharpen all my blades. I hope you're doing that right now, Michael. Thank you, and White International for the prize. Have also included a few pics of my workshop. Let's see where we are. Switch to there. And I hope to add dust extraction and a bandsaw later in the year. Love the show. Kind regards, Michael. Let's have a look at another couple of spots. He's got a nice miter stand. This miter saw station, that's not too bad. Very mobile. I like that kind of stuff. And here's another picture from the other side. Michael, thank you so much for sending those photos in. And if you've got photos of your workshop that you want me to throw up on the channel, like I just did for Michael there, on the show, do it. It's not hard. Send the photos in to davestantonfans@gmail.com. Okay, coughing. Get my run sheet from over here. Barry's not the only one that's putting on a few kilos, I tell you. Okay, confusion over diamond blades. Now these things are polycrystalline. See that? It says polycrystalline coated. Now they've got teeth. See up here? If anything looks like a saw blade with teeth, do not try and cut rock or stone or concrete with it. Here's another one from CMT. Has teeth, and I can actually cut wood with this. It's a bit rough, but it will do it. Now these two blades will fit into my TS55 or my HKC55. They are 20mm bore, 160mm diameter. This one is a 2.2mm kerf, I think, and this one I think is just slightly bigger. Let me have a look. 2.4mm. Micrometer eyes. So it happens to you over time. 2.4. Now they are fine for cutting cement sheet products like fibro, not with asbestos in it. Don't cut anything with asbestos, just call in a specialist. Especially if you're renovating an old home, and you've got fibro in there that's got asbestos in it, don't touch it. Get someone in to get rid of it for you. Get a professional, because, you know, it's just going to be, it's not worth it. Oh, you just lost your Mastiff, 12 weeks of 12 years, 12 years old last week. Oh, rough day. Every time we lose a dog, oh, we're a mess. And it's just family member. What can you say? Anyway, back to the blades. So if it looks like a sawtooth blade, these are designed for cutting soft sheet, like Blue Board in Australia, Hardy Plank, soft sheet eaves linings, but it's probably overkill for doing that. Villa Board, compressed sheet flooring, just as long as you don't do more than 10 millimeters per pass. Don't try and go through the full 19 millimeters or 16 millimeters, whatever it is. Do 10 and then do another 10. Do 2 passes, because you will heat the blade up too much and you'll stuff it. Now, the ones that you can use in rock, now I was going to show you the one that I keep on my angle grinder all the time, but I've got this photo I found on the web. Now notice that there is no actual tooth on that. It's just diamond on the side that's been bonded to the side of the steel blade, and there are slots in there to allow for cooling, and also these things are normally used with a wet cooling system for the slurry to go into. That's basically the I forget what they it's basically the spot behind the tooth to get rid of, or in front of the tooth to get rid of the slurry and the bits of stone and everything that you've cut out. It's called the gullet. I keep on forgetting these things, but anyway, there you go. That's the difference between. Let me come back over to this blade, teeth, and the other one, no teeth. Okay. Chris, Hardy board for tiles. Yes. Don't try and cut tiles with that though. With anything with teeth on it, don't try and cut tiles either. Tiles are harder than concrete. Some tiles are much harder than concrete. All right, depending on the mix. See, don't get me started. See, concrete comes in all sorts of different MPa. So for a standard path or a driveway, you probably go 15 MPa. If it's starting to, you want it to be a beam in a slab, around the edges, or a concrete slab for a house, I'd normally go 20 MPa. Then if you want to have really, really hard concrete for other purposes, possibly for precast pavers that have got to be extremely rigid, you'd go increase up to 25 MPa. Now the more cement, basically the MPa relates to how much cement is going in and the water ratio. Once you start getting into that area where you're increasing the cement, you have to be careful because you can burn your fingers if you're using it all day. So the higher the MPa, a lot more care as to what you touch. All right. JessEm winner, not yet. Too early in the show. Flickmixer, let's do that next. I'll grab this off here. And this is one of the great things I like about this little camera. I don't know if you can see me over there. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to push that there. Drop this out. I'm going to bring it over here right beside the Flickmixer. Now this is something you may want to watch if you have a situation where you have a leaking tap. Now I'm going to switch it over to the other camera. Where is it? Second camera. And we'll pull it back a little bit before I switch it to about there. I did a quick check before I'm going to do the transition. Okay, here we go. Let me see, what do we got? This is, and you won't see me during this, this is a standard Flickmixer tap. Now, on the front of it, you'll notice just down here, it's got a hot and cold indicator. Now that really is only a plug in the side of the handle. Now talking about plugs, see this thing here? Put that plug straight in the sink before you do anything more, because if you drop something and it falls down into the sink, it's going to end in tears. You're going to be upset. This pulls out quite easily. So you just hook your fingernails in behind it and it pulls out. So there we go. That's that. All right. Put it to the side. Inside here is a 2.5mm, and I'm using, you'll see I've got a little 2.5mm Allen key. And I'm using the dome head end. Inside there is a 2.5mm grub screw. You just push the Allen key in and undo it. Now, it's a good idea when you undo it. You'll feel it when it's nearly in. Take the grub screw out. I'm hoping it's going to come out. There she is. See that? That's the tiny little grub screw. Bring it up a bit closer for you. Good. I'm going to leave it on the end of the Allen key. Now, at this stage, if it was a good model, now I can lift this up because I haven't turned the water on, but there's no hot water connected to this tap. It's just a tap in the shed. But if you're working on any plumbing, taps, faucets, whatever you want to call it, turn the tap off at the mains, or turn your water supply off at the mains out the front of your house, and then find another tap that's lower in height in the position of your house than this one is. Now, my garden tap, I know, is not as high up in elevation above sea level, let's put it that way, than this is. So it's probably down 2 or 3 feet lower outside than this is. The reason being, when I take this off, and if I was to work on the tap body itself, any water from a higher point, so sometimes if you've got a 2-story home with a bathroom upstairs or a toilet or whatever upstairs, water might start draining out of the plumbing supply, and you don't want it to come out here and go all over the place. You want it to go out a lower point. It'll bypass this and just go straight out. Okay, so this one I know will come off easily. You just lift it up and there it is. Okay, so that's it. And you'll see there's the hole. And we went into there, that's where the grub screw goes in. And the grub screw locks against the side of this little thing here. See that little nylon thing sticking up? So that's how the tap works. Backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. Easy. Now, when you get to this stage, you'll notice that there is a lip here. This guy here is another part of the tap. So you undo that, like so. Okay? And you'll see that there's a big brass section here. Now, this is where it starts to, I would need to turn the water supply off now. I'm not going to go any further. This you'd undo, and then this whole unit here would come out. And that's what they look like. That's the unit you buy. You go to Bunnings or whoever sells the stuff, and you buy these. It's called a kinetic mixer tap cartridge, and this one is raised. So see here, that's a raised section. None of my taps have got the raised section, but I'd forgotten what was in the house. So I just bought all 4. So there's 35mm for a standard tap. If you're using a Flickmixer that's got a, that you can pull the tap out, you can pull it up, out, and use this, the tap as a vegetable washer. Let me pull back a little bit there. So instead of just being a standard spout, if it was a spout that you could pull out of the top and use it as a vegetable washer for inside, when they clean the veggies, obviously, well then it's going to be a 40mm cartridge. So instead of being a 35, it'll be 40mm diameter. Now what you can do is, as I said, with mine, I'll keep mine, it's nearly 10 too. I bought all 4 of them because I had the vegetable washer in the kitchen, and I also had this one up in the office, and I thought the other one was leaking around the bottom here. And so what I did when I replaced it, it was because there's some seals underneath and they just perished. And so it was leaking out over the sink. And it didn't bother me for a couple of years, and then I thought, I better fix it. Now here's the tip. I'm going to put this back on because I think you've seen enough there to work out what to do. If you can't undo this, there's a tip that I can give you. You get a tea towel or something, because you don't want to scratch this. So you'd get a tea towel or a rag, and you put it over the top, and then you get multi-grips. I don't know if that's what you call them in the States, but you get it over so that you can get a grip of that round section and take it off, rather than put the multis, I'll put it around here, rather than put the multis, open it up a little bit more, on the chrome section, because that would be terrible. Okay? Now, here's another thing. When I'm at this stage, you might find if it's an older one and you're having a problem lifting off, you think, what's Dave talking about? I cannot get this off. I've taken the grub screw out and everything. Get a screwdriver, an ordinary screwdriver, and sit it on the edge of the lip with the tap raised and push down, and you'll find it levers it up. But you've got to, you might be there for a little while doing this, but sometimes these are really, really tight in here, and it's almost impossible to take it off. It will come off, just you have to persevere. As I say, sit that there, and that's your pivot point, and away you go. Push down hard on the front, or you might do it at the back, lifting it up. Just, as I said, a standard flat blade screwdriver, obviously one that's going to be cleaner than mine. All right, so you've changed it all, then you put this back in, and tighten the grub screw back up in the new, onto the new tap body you put in. That's got him. Beautiful. And then put this in, and if you want to be cheeky, you could put it in back to front. Bit of a dad's joke, but no, probably not safe. Put it in the way it's meant to go. There you go. Hot to the left, cold to the right, and there you go. All right, I'm going to switch out of that now. And yeah, so as I say, I bought the four different ones. Switch this back over there, so it's ready for the next episode. Whoop, David, put it in there. That's got it. Okay, so that'll be ready for the next episode of that. Okay, channel locks. Okay, where are we? Back to the main camera and the chat. So look, I hope it's just one of those little things that happened during the week, and I thought, well, there's something I can share on the show, if you're interested. Declamping time, indeed it is. I think I'm going to read down the side here as well. Yep, declamping time. Bring it over. Isn't that fun? Ha! There we go. Take these guys off. There we go. Glued together. 30 minutes in the clamps. Don't stress it. But I'm going to put it over the bandsaw. So now I'm going to cut this off. And actually, yeah, I'll cut that off now. We'll switch the cameras again, and I'll show you some interesting things. Back to there. All right, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to raise it up, unlock the back. If I'm a bit slow with this, it's because this is a new machine. That's going to be fine. Going to lock the height there. And set the bandsaw to there. Over just a touch more. I think that'll do it. Yep, that'll be lovely. All right, turn on the dust extractor again. Nice and quiet. Round to the other side. There you go. Now, why am I using a bandsaw instead of the table saw? It's because the bandsaw will never kick back at me. I'm using short pieces of timber. It's safer to use a bandsaw. All right. Raise that up a little bit more. This thing has got 14 inches in height that I can cut if I want to. I'm going to spin it around the other way so you can see what happens here. A little bit more. That should be good. Yep. So I'm going to cut this. Around the other side. Okay, so I have that, and that. Now I want to cut it so that I've got a bit of an angle on it. So I'm going to tip it at around 7 degrees. So I'll bring the camera around the other side. I'm going to just shorten the legs down. I'll show you how I adjust this one, which is pretty nice. Okay, so see under there are 2 levers. This one is a clamp and you pull it back to release it. This one actually raises and lowers the bed, and it's going to tell me the degrees I want to go to. I'm going to go to 7. Maybe 8 degrees. There we go, 8. And then I'm going to tighten the lock, and that's it, fixed. Okay, around the other side. And there, and then raise the head of the camera up. To there again. Okay. What I want to do now, I need to make sure that I'm thinking straight, is I want an angle across there. I think if I don't have to worry about the end there. So if I have it like so, that should be good. Yep. I'm going to relax. If I show you from around this side what I'm doing, I'm going to relax this, let the fence come down to it, unlock it, and that now should give me, if I run that through there, I should get a nice angled cut. Here we go. Just being careful. Go around to the other side. Got it. And off. Turn that off. Switch the cameras. Back to there. All right. So now I have this that's going to sit the wrong way. I cut the thing the wrong the wrong way. Okay, so how that should have happened, instead of cutting the angle this way, I should have cut it that way. But not to worry. Not to worry. See, I'm focusing on too many things. Running this show and also trying to create a nice item. It's going to take me 10 seconds to make a new one. The machinery bids in store only, or are you going to put them up? I'm not going to put them up. No, they're not on my channel. They offered for me to do that, but I declined. So there we go. You know what I can do? I can glue it back on. And I might do that. If I glue that back onto there, yeah, why not? I'm going to glue that back and then I'll rip it the other direction. There you go. So we'll all pretend that that looks so good right now at the moment. Shh, don't tell anyone. Let's glue that now. I've got a couple of minutes left. What would it be without a mistake in the shed? Hey, it wouldn't be any fun, would it? Okay, let's get the glue on this quickly before anyone sees. And because it's off the one blade, I shouldn't really worry too much about planing it. I'm going to leave it alone. The things we do. Have you ever had a situation where you think, yeah, that's it, that's fine, I'm all set, I'm right to go, and then you do it and you think, oh, what was I thinking? Sure, I'm not the only one. Okay, there's a couple of, we've got to announce the winner, which I will do very, very soon. Give me a second, we'll clamp this together. Isn't glue amazing stuff? I'm going to lock it at the end with one of the spring clamps. That's one on, and the other end, and then a couple of little quick clamps in the center. Beautiful. Just making sure everything's lining up before I put the little guys on. Having a little bit of a issue with that going sideways right at the moment, so I need to pull it back. That's better. Got it. Put that one there, and then these guys in on the actual middle part where the timber is very, very thin. Give me a second. I got some more of these, I think. These are handy clamps. Very handy. Got it. And the last one. What do they say? That's a porcupine. All right, that's going to do us. Where am I up to? Welcome, Dave here. Welcome to Dave's Stop-Ups. Not to worry. Give the angle you were originally shooting for. Yeah, but I cut the holes out, the bottom of the holes out, so it'll be fine. Fine furniture, it is not. Indeed. Thanks, guys. You're very, very supporting. Okay, what do we got next? What do we got next? We've got the winner of the JessEm clear cut stock guides. And I've got to say thank you again to JessEm for supplying this, and the Allen key. That was the correct answer. Those 3 items. And the winner the winner is, and it went to the USA. So there you go, guys. The winner is Todd Starr. So Todd, I'm going to send you an email. If you've sent me the correct email address, I'm going to send you an email, and I'll ask JessEm to get those out to you as quickly as we can. And prize time. Yes, John, you didn't get it. Unlucky. What else? I think that is about it. Oh, the mobile base tip. Did I bring that in? Here you go. So I had a few people ask what was this thing you were talking about on the mobile base? It's a way when I was putting a mobile base together during the week. This was just a quick way. Those little nylon spaces against the wheels, you know, they're a pain. You've got to try and slide them in. This is how I did it. And it's actually how they say to do it if you read the instructions. Here's a tip while you're putting these things together, so you can line that bolt up here perfectly. What you do is you put a very small bolt in to hold the nylon bush prior to putting the wheel in, and then all you do is slide this guy in, if I can pick it up one-handed, into there, push it through. Look at this, one-handed, and it pops the other one out the other side. There you go. That's a little Friday tip from Dave. See you later. And here's a picture of Trevor's workshop. I encourage you guys to send some stuff in to me. So Trevor's obliged. This is his lathe, and that's his work center. And also he's got a wide angle of the workshop. And what takes pride of place right in the middle is the Stanton bench. And here's something as well. I had a little Skype with John Lafferty during the week, and I encourage you, John's on the level where you can Skype with me, and I encourage you to do that. Here's John having a Skype with me. You can see behind him, that's a bottle of Coke, his favorite potion in the world. And so I had a quick talk to him. If he's got any questions, I can help him out. And as I say, I encourage you to jump onto Patreon. That's one of the levels. If you're already a Patreon member, that I say that I'll give you a Skype. Take advantage of it. Send me an email, and if you've got a thing that I can help you out with, not a massive project, but if just a couple of things, it's a 10-minute session, do it and we'll arrange a time. Okay, everybody, I think that is about all. I think that's it. Intro and text. There it is there. So look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Have a great week. And come back next week for more of Dave's Stuff Ups, and we might do something a little bit more interesting. See you later.